Welcome everyone. Another great Ylopo webinar in the works here.
Talk about all the good nerdy stuff that Follow Boss is doing.
Exactly. We don't have my partner HT on the line, and so this the friendly banter period is not going to be quite as good as you guys
we can
are
just
used
pick
to.
on Kiwi. I mean, that's always an option.
It's true. Yeah, he can't. He's not. He's muted though, so it's not really fair.
Even easier.
I was saying, we should just hire another New Zealander. That way, it would be, not appropriate to just call Kiwi.
Oh, he's back.
Oh. We do have an Aussie on here, so the Kiwi and the Aussie can just go at it, and you guys can back with some popcorn.
Perfect.
One of the summits, the entire summit, every time I spoke with Kiwi, I actually did my best Australian accent for like 4 days, 3-4 days. I wouldn't talk to him unless it was an Australian accent. And I think he finally got used to me talking that way.
Give us an example, Barry.
Let me just tell you right now, sometimes I'm really good at it, and other times, it's just not one of them things I'm that good at. So
pretty good.
It actually didn't matter if it sounded good. It was the point that every time I talked to Kiwi, it's just like the Robbie T conversion. For some reason, the first session I was eating edamame, and now every session, that's like the thing. I'll eat edamame while Robbie teaches on lead conversion. So
it's very healthy.
It doesn't matter if it makes sense to anybody else. It makes sense to me.
There you go. What are you drinking today, Barry? Caffeine kick. Huh.
It's just water, a little bit of fruit juice, and caffeine. Whole 30 of fruit.
Fancy. Never heard of that before. I got my typical iced coffee here.
Yeah. Actually the CEO of Yahoo, the old one, forgot her name. She started this company.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. I think we can get started here. So once again, welcome everyone. Today's webinar is a webinar that I'm really excited about. We are going to see the latest and greatest from Follow Up Boss. About 50% of our clients right now today are on Follow Up Boss. It is by far, our largest CRM partner. And, part of that is because we started with Follow Up Boss as our original integration, but I'd say a bigger part of it is just how much innovation that we see from Dan and his team. And so really would like to give a warm welcome to Dan, the co-founder of Follow Up Boss. It's a pleasure and an honor to have him on. And Barry, our Professor Barry, needs no intros. So Dan, any words before diving right in?
Thanks for having me, guys. Obviously we love the integration and everything we're doing with the Ylopo community. We've got a lot of big features, and I think we're going to do our best to go through them. And then we're also going to show you, so I think the main things we're going to cover in this call are automations, group texting, which is a big new release, and also the team inbox. Like, a lot of our clients could take more advantage of that. And then also we're going to show you how to get access to your success manager. If you're a team with Follow Up Boss and Ylopo, specifically your Follow Up Boss success manager, you probably have Ylopo one as well. And they can help you set a lot of these things up. So, we're going to, do a lot of that, obviously now with Barry, but some of the things, more advanced, and maybe you want to talk it through with someone, have them help you like adjust things in your account. We'll definitely show you in this webinar how to do that and get in touch with them.
And one thing, before you go over some of these new features, it's really helpful for those that are watching when you are, my headset just did something really strange. Sorry. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can.
All right. Hold on a second.
Yeah, no problems. Technical difficulty.
Somehow CNN is going into my AirPods right now, and I don't know why. This is the strangest thing I've ever.
All right, no more AirPods.
No AirPods.
So I was just going to say that when you're looking at new features and automations, sometimes we get both excited and overwhelmed. And I found that when you are presented with something that's more general, like, hey, here's the new automation tool, start with what you're not doing. Start with a problem. And then, like, so for example, are you contacting your clients on their birthday? Okay, that's a problem if you're not. And could this solve that? So work from the problem backwards. And what you'll find is that you'll have a lot of opportunity just to leverage it. So anyway, sorry that took so long.
No, awesome. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. So we, do you want to share your screen, Barry, to have a look at the automations, or I can share mine, whatever's easier.
Yeah, I can share mine. That's no problem.
We saw some people, like, we've preloaded like 11 automations for everyone, and then Barry has his own automations, which we'll share in the Facebook group. But yeah, some people just went in and switched all of them on. So it's like, you know, like, let's just do everything. But I think like what Barry was saying is like, yeah, really just think about like what you should be automating versus, yeah, just thinking like you need to for the sake of it. So Barry's got a lot, but you don't need to start there. I would just suggest starting with like, what's one thing you can do, right? So Barry, like one thing that might be good is we just show how to create a very basic automation. So Barry's in the automation screen under admin, and then you just click this button at the top right to create a new one. What if we just create something basic, like, you know, once the stage is moved to closed, you know, have an action plan to get a review or to follow up with the client. So kind of like, I guess a bit of an overview about the automations feature is really this lets you have additional triggers in Follow Up Boss compared to just like when a new lead comes in. So some of those triggers, you know, are like when the stage changes, when someone comes back to your website, when there's a tag added, a new inquiry. And it can also be dates that are in this system, like the close date of a deal or someone's birthday, things like that. So that's how I guess you should think about automations. If you use Zapier and you're familiar with triggers, like it's basically the same concept, except built inside Follow Up Boss.
Well, and I would say also, if you're used to creating smart lists and filtering the leads based on certain criteria, this pretty much works the same way. So it's very, if you're searching at all within your leads, the way that the trigger works is pretty straightforward. Hey, does the circle here on next to birthday mean it's a revolving date?
Yeah, that just means it happens every year. Yeah, recurring.
So, because when I picked a birthday, it's like, let's say it's today, you know, November 5th. It says it's 20th. So I'm not going to have to go in and manually change it to the 21st the next year. It's going to do it automatically. I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, I think it should. It should. It should be the same day, obviously.
Okay.
For birthday, yeah.
And nothing, Zapier does not allow you to get this granular. Dates, inquiry, property viewed, and property saved. That's not, you know, well, property inquiry, I think you can do on a new inquiry, but just a property view or a property save in Zapier is not something that I know how to do. So not that it can't be done. I'm just saying that, you know, to me, this is like one of those things that, the pieces of the automation that I think really makes Ylopo shine. Because now I've never been able to create automation off of, well, first of all, before Ylopo, I could generate the lead, but I couldn't keep them on my site, not like I can now. And so now I've got this activity that's a constant and they're coming back, but Zapier doesn't allow me to trigger off of, you know, some of these granular events of just looking at a house. But because of this automation feature, I can do some serious automation. And so that's really neat. It's really changed the pond a lot for us. because, you know, we've got like 90,000 leads in there, and Ylopo's running ads to all of them. And every time somebody is looking at a house or saving a house or having a showing request or triggering a priority alert, you know, an action plan fires that's designed for leads that are in the pond that are active. And I've never been able to do that until now. So really, really neat.
Yeah, it's a great point about having a big database, because I know everyone at sort of Ylopo's focused on growing their database, you know, as you should be. And this is one of the problems we found and like wanted to solve with automations. Like as people's databases got bigger and bigger and bigger, it's less about like that new lead, and it's more about the people that come back. So the people that were generated from Ylopo or Zillow or Reels.com, you know, years ago, and then now they've come back to the site today. So that's what those triggers are for. And that's where especially like things like the new inquiry come in, because you don't necessarily want to like send it to the same agent, or you don't necessarily want to have like the same just notify the agent and then rely on them to do something. You want to start automating things. So that's an instant win actually for people that have a database, is to have the automation turned on to treat new inquiries differently. So that's like a no-brainer one if you're getting a lot of those re-inquiries.
Yeah, no, I mean, and so, you know, for me, this tool does something that Zapier isn't able to do. And so even the people that might be major Zapier nerds, you know, that's why, you know, when you guys were working on this, my quote was like, I went from automating thousands of tasks to hundreds of thousands, because the depth of integration just took a whole nother level. So, but there's very basic automations you can do as well. You don't have to, like you said, just a stage change. To me, that's a great database management tool.
Awesome. Yeah, let's maybe just go through that one, and then we can share maybe some of the more advanced ones in the group. But yeah, just so everyone sees how to do it, I guess.
So one of the automations that I do is if my agent changes the stage to hot and it's a lead source that my lender is co-marketing with me, I add a condition that says anytime the stage that's hot is changed to hot and the source is Ylopo. So I'm going to do this Ylopo, this Ylopo, this Ylopo, and I don't even know if this is even a, okay. So these are all the different forms of Ylopo leads. And anytime that happens, I'm going to trigger an action plan. So the action plan is adding my lender. So basically what I did, if this is there's a couple different lender plans that I have, but anytime my agent changes the stage to hot and it's a Ylopo lead, my agent is added as a collaborator. And an email goes out from my agent automatically that says, hey, I know we just spoke. I wanted to go ahead and send our lender. Here's their contact information if you ever want to shop around. So now, you know, because sometimes there's a temptation when you're on the team to like think that it's not a team lead and you're going to control who the lender is. And, you know, and so if there ever was a temptation, it doesn't matter anymore because my lender just got access to the lead and my lender just got introduced to the buyer without my agent doing anything other than changing the stage to hot. And then you just make sure you change the name, because if you don't do that, it gets hard to remember. So I'll just call it lender test. And so I'll save that name, and then you save it. And then hold on, before I save it, this is helpful too, because I'm not going to want this automation to run on a lead more than once. So if if he changes the stage to hot and this automation fires and all this action plan and an email goes out from the agent, and then they change it to warm and then they change it back to hot, I don't want this action plan to run a second time. So I'm going to leave this unchecked. That way it only runs once per person. So now I'm going to save it, and it asks you, do you want to just like save it or save it and enable. I'm not going to enable it because I've already got a bunch of other stuff going on, but I'm just going to hit save. And I go back to my automations and it should be right there. Lender test. And you see I didn't turn it on, so it's just there hanging out.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a perfect example. I mean, also what you'll see there is that number you're seeing on the right-hand side is that's how many times that automation has run. So you can see some of Barry's have run, hundreds of times. That just gives you an idea of how many things, we're automating for you in these different processes. So
this is 800 times a lead triggered a specific alert, and my sales team was called. So it's just all kinds of. It really. Oh, I just turned on 2 happy birthday automations. Sorry, I'm moving around a lot, guys.
Justin had a question about the Y priority automations, and I know you've got a couple in there. Can you just walk us through maybe quickly what those are, Barry? That one. Maybe.
So anytime the lead adds a Y priority alert and it's older than 10 days and it's still in the lead stage. So the reason why I did those conditions are the first 10 days, my agents are supposed to be contacting, and the ISA, they're supposed to be reviewing the lead at least twice a day. So after 10 days, I want to start assisting them with integration and trying to help them. So by having these filters, it's like, okay, you haven't converted it yet. It's still in the lead stage. It's older than 10 days. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to trigger the action plan that says adding ISA as a collaborator. And so this action plan, go over to action plans, and we add one of my ISAs. I'll show you this email in a second. Then we add, it looks like I've added him. Oh no, this is another automation for Nico. And then that's why that tag is there. And then I think this is a drip. Yeah. And then this is a drip campaign that I have in call action. But the Y priority email is, so, time of day. So this goes out right when there's a Y priority lead. Afternoon, John, are you still looking around the whatever house they viewed area? I wrote it this way because it doesn't always happen, but if I don't have the address, I don't want to look like an idiot. So are you still looking around the area? While it doesn't sound great, it still works if there's no address. But normally it'll say, afternoon, John, are you still looking around the 123 Smith Street area? Let me know. I think I might have found a few you like. Also, I would like to discuss a few others that I think you missed as well. If you have 15 minutes, we can jump on a quick call. You can text me at, and this is the follow-up boss number, is what we have there. And we'll get into why that's relevant in your drip campaigns later. But so this email goes out from the assigned agent. And then in the meantime, I'll keep searching for you. And because sometimes I don't have 5 homes that they viewed, at that point, I don't want to make a big deal of it. But in the meantime, I'll keep searching for you. And then it has the last 5 houses that they've looked at. So, this is a great way to, so right away, my ISA is added as a collaborator, and the agent sends an email that's customized. That's like right away. And then another tag for Nico to know, to have some automation on his end. And then 3 days later, this is triggering some voicemail drops. Again, you don't have to do all this, but this to me is an easy win. Add the right person to the lead, send some really killer emails to the lead, and this is just my adding the ISA to a Y priority lead. And I can share this automation, which includes this action plan, right, Dan, if I share it? Yeah, so
For sure.
If I share the automation, you guys are going to get all of this and the action plan. So you'll get this email and all that stuff.
Awesome. Do you want to actually show us how to share? Because like other people can also share. So I know not everyone's a systems person, but if you've created a cool automation, we would definitely encourage you to share it. You can share it in the Follow Up Boss group or the Ylopo group.
I will.
And
but first, I just want to show what that email looks like. Morning, Laura. Are you still looking around the 1215 Lawson Cove Circle area? You see she opened it and she clicked it. I think I found a few. And then these are the homes she just looked at while she was on my site. So it's super sneaky.
Yeah, using that merge field is a great tip. So there's what Barry was showing is like there's a viewed address merge field, which will put in the last address that they viewed. And then you can also put in like the last 5 properties they looked at as well. So obviously Ylopo is sending us all that information. You can use that in all your templates, whether that's like an automated template or a one-off.
Yeah, I'll go back to it. So let's see, I'm trying to think. Oh, I would have to go to email templates, wouldn't I, to show them the merge fields?
Yeah. I'll link to our document about it. I think.
Yeah. So the only reason I'm like, quote, going sideways on this is because I really, when you're creating automation, there's a certain loss of control. And for some of you, you're going to want to be careful. And so, to the degree that you can customize this. So here's the, day of the time, afternoon, evening, good morning, their first name. This isn't the email though. Where is it? Oh, it's Y priority, I think is the name of the email.
And Ali was asking, like, if they haven't viewed 5, then yeah, it's basically just going to show what they've viewed. So whether that's 2 or 3, like you're saying, yeah. So
yeah,
just
but
adjust.
You notice I didn't overcommit because I don't know. I'm not paying attention. But like if I put in this email, and for your convenience, I've listed the ones that you've looked at below, right? And then, what if there's nothing there for some reason? So I don't overstate the automation. I just make sure I include it very subtly. Like in this one, are you still looking around the blank address area? But the merge fields you've got, in my opinion, something that really sets Follow Up Boss apart, especially with all these automations. But you've got the last viewed address, the last viewed URL to the address, the last inquiry, and then you've got the time of day.
Greeting time's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And then where is the last 5? I must have skipped it. Oh, well, you can't put the last 5 in the subject line. That's why. Yeah. Last 5 preview. Viewed address preview. So it puts like a little ribbon there. So when you're doing these automations, you can really get granular. And, I don't think if it wasn't for Ylopo bringing these leads back to our website, you wouldn't really need to do this. This wouldn't happen a lot. But now that people are actually engaging the platform, we've got a scenario where we have an opportunity to really get specific with our follow-up. What was the other thing? Oh, sharing. That's what you want.
Yeah, that'd be awesome to share.
So here's my automations, old Y priority leads that trigger ISA support. And I just hit share and it creates a link, a cool little image, old leads that trigger an alert on my website, go to my ISA and call action drips with voicemails and video. So then I just copy here and then I send it. So I will put this in the chat right now, actually. Chat.
Awesome. Yeah, and Ivan was asking like, what's the difference between an action plan and an automation? And so, again, I think like automations are really like the way to trigger an action plan. So, again, like someone's coming back to your website, or the stage has changed in the CRM, maybe to close, maybe to hot, maybe like Ylopo was tagged them Y priority, so they become like a priority lead. That's really what the automation is about, like automating that trigger for you. And then it also has those conditions, like Barry was saying. So like maybe you don't want it to happen if you've recently talked to them, or they're in a certain stage, or assigned to a certain person. So it has conditions. And then the actual action is an action plan. So what it does is it will then go and trigger an action plan. But rather than you having to do that manually, it's always automatically doing that at the right time. So that's how they sort of, they work together.
Yep, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Justin, you can have as many of these automations as you want. Where is background? Do you know what
I think that's background on a person screen. On the person screen. You know how on the left there's the background field?
Oh, right.
Do you want to show that super quickly? And then we can jump in maybe to group text, because I know we've still got a fair bit to cover.
I told you this would happen. So I'm just going to go into a lead, and then I'm going to come over here to background. So it's just basically, it's a great way. Oh, is that because somebody asked for a pinned note?
Yes. Yeah, I think Justin was asking for that.
So this would be the good place for a pinned note, is the background. Like, likes chocolate ice cream, for example, or something, like that would be where you would put something like that. All right. So what was the next thing we're going over?
Group texting. I can share my screen for this one if you want, Barry, and maybe you can talk us through how you could be using it. But basically, we've launched this to everyone this week. So now you can group text inside Follow-Up Boss, which is different from mass texting. So this is not texting like 1,000 people at once, but this is rather group texting. So like texting spouses at the same time, handing off leads from your agents or to an agent from an ISA, or handing off someone to your lender. Like Barry was sort of showing before how you could do that via email. We'll show you guys exactly how you can do that via this new group texting feature. So yeah, it's super easy. I mean, everyone's, I think, sent a group text before, so we liked it. Like this is going to be easy for everyone to pick up. But you see how in this contact, like I've got John, and that's his number there, and then I've got Mary, and that's her number, right? So normally I just go to the text tab in Follow-Up Boss. I type my text here, but I want to add Mary to it first. So I just hit this plus and see that Mary comes up. So that's all you need to do basically to be texting both people at once. And then, you can use your templates, everything like that. So, but the cool part, or, the next cool part is, let's say I didn't want to just include both spouses. I also wanted to introduce them to my lender, right? So then I could say like, oh, my lender I've already assigned to this lead is Han. I can actually just add him in here as well. So then, see, now I'm texting all 3 people at once. We're also going to be loading some templates for you guys for these intros. Here's the one we've got for the lender handoff. So it's just basically like, Han, John is a client of mine who's going to buy a property shortly. Can you please take point on getting them pre-approved? And then they're going to get that group text conversation. So it's a nice warm intro instead of, just getting Han to give him a call back or anything like that. So,
well, and, especially in this workflow, Dan, what a lot of agents are doing, you're prospecting, right? You've got your computer in front of you and you're working, and then you finally get one, and you want to connect the lender and the buyer. And so then what you end up accidentally doing is playing like, receptionist or appointment maker for the lender. And, did you make the appointment, or, hey, did you call the lead? And you also, for that, normally you're using your cell phone, because at that point you're, just trying to make it happen and you're trying to hurry. And so what I explained to my agents, and we've actually created a text template as an intro. So the text template says like, hey, lead name, this is my lender name. I want to introduce you, da, 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 da. so that now it's just a quick click and you're just moving right along. And it works. I shared actually an image of this, Dan, I think. Yeah, I did, in the Follow Boss community. So it works.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll pull that up in a sec. Yeah, I mean, this is a great way, honestly, like these warm handoffs. There's also the call transfer feature, which is kind of a bit off topic, but like it's just so much better. Like, again, you think about the consumer experience. That's why people do switch to their mobile phones. You think about like how Zillow hands off leads, like they're trying to do that warm handoff because they know that's so much more effective. So yeah, we've seen people have a lot of great success with this. We saw people that were just literally giving all their ISAs mobile phones because they wanted them so badly to do group texting. And yeah, now we're super happy it's built in. And again, then you can see everything that's happening. Like, did the lender just forget to reply? Obviously, you've got a history of that. The other massive one, I think, is ISAs or team leaders handing it off to an agent. So it's just the same thing. Like you said, instead of like looping in the lender, in this case, see Kara is the assigned agent, I would just loop in Kara. And I think we have a different template we're going to load up for that. And, you know, we've got a few things you can fill in here. Again, you can change this template, but yeah, just make it warm and friendly, and set the expectation with your agents as well that they need to reply back super fast to that thread, because there's nothing worse, obviously, than them just, you know, waiting hours there for a reply. But, you know, that's, again, if you're using an ISA team, this becomes awesome because you can just see exactly in the system how long it took for the agent to reply, if they still need to reply, you know, all that good stuff.
So, and I think it bears just pointing out that, you know, not everybody has an ISA team. But, you know, if you're outside of just being an individual agent, if you have anyone that works for you, you know, that call and transfer feature is super relevant, because, you know, if somebody on your team is answering the phone and they want to speak with you, you know, you can very easily do that. And so the way that I look at the group texting and the live transfer, actually, can you show the live transfer real quick? Just, you don't have to like go full on, but just.
Sure. No, you can.
Just, you know.
So yeah, you basically just jump on a call. So call someone over here, and then on the call, you can actually, so you can do a few cool things. You can transfer it to one of your agents. You don't have to have the dialer. If there's someone that doesn't, that's fine. You would transfer it to their mobile phone. You can also transfer it to one of your team inboxes, which I think we're going to talk about quickly next, which may be like your sales team, your SA team, anything like that. But yeah, it's simple click. And then once you've done that and it transfers over, you're actually going to have a couple of options. So you can either stay on the line and have like a three-way conversation. So that you can, obviously then you could do the warm intro. Or the other cool thing is you can do like a hot, well, what's the right way to say it? I guess like an intro to the person. So me and Barry would talk and say, hey, Barry, like I've got John on, and, you know, he's looking for a house, you know, I'm going to transfer him through to you. And then I put him through and it's just Barry and John talking. So like it's a completed transfer versus like the three-way conversation, but you've got both options there.
Yeah. And, you know, these features become more relevant when you start putting your follow-up boss number on your advertisements. And so I've created a bunch of drip campaigns for my agents where I'm doing the talking and the messaging, but then the number I give is my follow-up boss number, my company number, so that I know if lead John Smith calls that number and John Smith is assigned to my agent Mary, when John calls, it's going to route right to Mary. So this is like a workflow hack for you guys. Find out what your follow-up boss company number is, and it's going to start to make a lot of these group text and inbox features just kind of come alive. And then for those of you that are afraid to use the follow-up boss dialer and numbers because, oh, well, that's not my cell, I want them knowing my cell. The script my agents use, it's just, John, you know, I've been calling you through my computer, but now that you and I are working together, here's my direct cell. You don't have to do that, but if you're really worried about it, then that's something you could do.
Yeah, I like that. The other one I like is this is just my business number, and then this is my direct cell. Because again, like sort of like Barry's presenting there, your direct cell is a benefit to have your direct cell. Now it's, you've got even more access to this person. It's like text me anytime, right?
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, it doesn't really come up. It does get a bit, I think people get overwhelmed as they're like, you know, I've got a Raya number, I've got my cell phone, I've got this other service I signed up for before, Google Voice, you know, and then I've got follow-up boss numbers. And then I think people like collect numbers almost. But we can definitely help you get that dialed in. I think we'll show you a little bit shortly, just the basics of where to go. And then you can contact our team for help dialing it fully in. And the benefit of dialing it fully in, kind of like Barry was saying, is like, you're not going to like lose all these opportunities. Because when someone calls you back from one of your drip campaigns, or they call you from the number on your Ylopo site or whatever it is, that is the best possible lead you can get. It's someone calling you, right? They want to talk to you. So instead of you chasing them, this is 100% inbound. But then when that happens, you can't miss it, right? You have to have some kind of system set up, so it's not like chance. It's not just going to your cell phone or you know, getting lost in your voicemails or what it is. So
Well, and you know, it's just really funny. I've got an agent on my team that's been on the team for 30 days. She's been licensed for 30 days ish, and she's answered 2 inbound calls and in October, and the average sale in our market is 250,000. One is for 300, one under contract last week. And while I've been on this webinar, she just texted me the other inbound call she got 2 weeks ago. She just ratified for 500,000. They were just inbound phone calls. And so to be able to organize the inbound phone call was the game changer for us. And so you definitely want to think through that from a workflow perspective.
awesome. Yeah, let me see if I can share my iPhone quickly. We'll see if this works, guys. And then I'll show you guys group texting on the iPhone, and then we'll jump into the calling stuff, because everyone in Follow Up Boss has access to the inbound call routing. So again, it's an underutilized feature, but a lot of people do, you know, do really well with it. Let's see. You can see my phone now, right?
Yes, you're so fancy.
No, I'm glad this is working. So the other cool thing is, so let's say I'm texting with someone on the Follow Up Boss iPhone app, right? And then I'm like, okay, great. Now I'm at the stage where I want to loop someone in my team on. So see at the top how it's like, I'm texting Dan. It's obviously just myself, but there's a little plus to that. So you just tap that, and that's going to let you put in like who you would like to loop into the group text. So in this case, I'm going to type J because I want to get Jennifer from my team, who's like super helpful in our success team. And I might say something like, hey, Jennifer, can you please help Dan with X? You know, whatever it is, right? And then that's all you need to do. So now you've started a new group text, you know, between the 3 of us. So it just makes it, again, super easy. And that could be your lender. That could be an agent on your team. You've got access to the templates up the top right there. So again, we're going to load all these templates for you. And you can just pull that up like, hey, you know, Daniel's ready to go see some properties, etc. So yeah, use those templates. And again, all you're doing is just make sure you have the latest version of the iPhone app. You're picking that plus, and then just type in the name of whoever you would want to include. It could be another lead in your database, by the way. Could be another number. But we also make it really easy to select agents or lenders, you know, who are on your team as well.
All right. How about Android? Somebody asked.
Great question. So iPhone, we have like full support for everything. With Android, we have support for replying to the group text, and we're going to have support for creating them, I think, like super shortly. I saw some kind of release go out earlier today. I don't want to say it's out, but there should be an update in the Android store like super soon. But you can already be doing it from your computer and replying to them from your Android device. You'll be able to create brand new ones like I just showed on iPhone, like super soon. So yeah, just keep an eye out for that update. If you can, turn on auto updates, obviously in the, you know, whatever app store you're in as well. That really helps.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, the group texting, easy win. And I think I know for my agents, the more I can keep them in front of their computer screen, I hear it all the time. A lot of agents are trying to manage their lead flow and their database from the mobile app. The mobile app is great for Follow Up Boss. You're calling these Ylopo leads and you're making it happen. But I think we both can agree that the mobile app was not designed to run your entire business off of. And when you decide to schedule time in front of a computer to work through your database, y'all are going to see like you move so much faster, and you're able to just have this command center of communication. I tell my agents, Follow Up Boss is our source of truth, and we have Ylopo feeding it and sharing back and forth, but all the data is hinged in there. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, ideally, you're blocking off some time each day to be in front of your computer, working your leads, checking the new priority alerts, looking in your inbox. Like this is the other place which is massive in Follow Up Boss, and actually a nice segue into looking at the team inbox. So the team inbox is essentially in Follow Up Boss, you have an inbox which is like all the calls, texts, and emails which are coming to you. The team inbox is sort of the same thing, except it can be shared across multiple people in your team. So, for example, like answering inbound calls, instead of it just having to go to one person, Barry, it can actually go to Barry's team, which makes it a lot easier to keep up with everything. So Barry mentioned before the company number, and the way you would find that in Follow Up Boss is you would go to your inbox, and then you would go down to manage at the left, and then you're going to see probably one team inbox in your account, unless you're sort of already set up additional stuff. And you're going to see a number which has company number next to it, or it'll probably be the top one as well. That is the number that's like the number for your Follow Up Boss account. So you're able to put that number anywhere you would like on your marketing. So on your Zillow page, on your Ylopo website, in your drip campaigns, like Barry was saying. And then when calls come in, they're going to route to the right assigned agent inside your Follow Up Boss account. If they don't have it, if they're not already in your database, like say it's a new number that's calling, what's going to happen is it'll ring everyone that you've set it to ring through the team inbox. And then it'll be tracked in here as a missed call or a voicemail or an answered call. So it always makes it into the system. Does that make sense? Or can you elaborate on that, Barry? Especially like, I guess, with Raya, you need to have a callback number. So I believe that's how you guys are, you guys have that set to your company number. So then it does call back the right agent when someone calls that, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, look, let's be honest. We all know that you guys, as agents, we have trouble answering the phone. So when you can have one number that can route to the right person, that's great. But if John Smith is calling my company number, my inbox number, which is how Dan just showed how to do that, and that number doesn't match anyone, I can either just make the call go directly to voicemail, or I can have it call, I think, up to 5 people at once. And so then they get to work that inbound phone call as a new lead. And all the agents that I give access to the inbox can see all the text messages and the transcriptions from the voicemails in one place. And I can tag, like, I mean, we have this happen. Like we'll get a voicemail off of something. Maybe it's a return call from Raya, because I gave my inbox number for Raya for return calls. That's where it goes. People say, hey, Raya, I really like that home you sent me. Can we go look at it? And it's a lead in the pond. Well, my entire team sees that, and then somebody decides to claim it and assign it to themselves. Or if the ISA sees it, they do a private note and they're like, John, this is your area. Let's go ahead and make it happen. I'm going to go ahead and assign it to you now. And then they assign the conversation to the agent. And so even if you're not a large team, it's still something that even if you're, with 2 people, it's still a good idea. So.
Yeah, it's an easy way to collaborate. A couple of like good features Barry mentioned there as well. You can also put notes, like he was saying, and then you can also assign to people. So again, I could just say, hey, Caroline, like this is in your area. I'm going to assign this over to you. So it's just about making sure like when you think about it, what you're trying to do is make sure the consumer gets looked after as fast as possible. So ideally that you're going to answer all of those calls live. And we've had people that switch to this and then they're just like, yeah, I don't even use the voicemail and missed call features because we answer all the calls now. And that's perfect. That's what you want. But if you do miss some, which is going to happen from time to time, right? The perfect thing is it's going to show up in the system as a missed call or a voicemail. And like, these are just, again, these are the hottest opportunities, right? And so what I love about it is I can just see, even for our own sales team, we use this. I look at this and I'm like, if I see like 10 things there, I'm like, what are we doing? Like, we need to get back to all these people super fast. So yeah, and obviously if you have the follow-up style, you can just call them back. It's one click. If you don't, you can call them back manually and close it. And then all the features we showed you, like texting and group texting, you can do all that in here as well. So yeah, the other cool thing with Ylopo, Barry's account may be a little bit better to show this, is when you're looking at people in your inbox, you can also see on the right-hand side all their website activity. So exactly what they've been looking at online, just all the details about the person. So here are some of the things where if you're using an external system like Ring Central or something like that, you're just not going to have all like the caller ID from your CRM. You're not going to be able to easily track things and like line them up against the people already in your CRM. So yeah, it just becomes like a bit of an easier way to do that.
And somebody was asking about, do we route the company number to call action? I don't do that. I honestly don't even know what would happen if you do that. I use my call action numbers in different instances. And even though, and so for me, I use the follow-up boss number as if you're calling me, call this number, call the office. That's how I use, and I know that there's probably more to that than what I'm saying, Dan, but that's how we use it.
Yeah, and this actually getting set up with these numbers, I guess I'll just you can port numbers in. It does take a little bit of setup and planning. It's not complicated to use this. Especially if you've got an ISA team, like this is a no-brainer, because they'll now be doing everything inside FootBoss. But I do recommend people talk to someone on our team rather than go and try and set all this up themselves, because there is a few little nuances to it. And so, yeah, what I mentioned or alluded to earlier is, if you don't know who your follow-up boss success manager is, or if you need help from our team, we've now added this little cool help icon at the top right. So what we'll have here, if you already have a success manager, like a particular person you've been working with who like the teams on follow-up boss have, you will see their specific info here. If you're a team on follow-up boss, you're going to see basically a screen like this, and you'll be able to schedule a meeting with our success team. So basically, just click that link. It's going to take you to Calendly, and you'll be able to choose a time that works for you, to talk about automations, group text, the team inbox, or anything else you want to talk about, so we can help you get more value out of your account. Because someone was asking before, like, this looks all really great, but how much help can I get, getting it all set up? And if, at both Ylopo and Follow Up Boss, like, we try and really make it as easy as possible. We don't want everyone to become a technical person. We know you guys are real estate sales people, so we're just here to help you do that. So again, just click that little help thing. And I just strongly recommend building a relationship with your success manager at Ylopo and at Follow Up Boss, because they're the ones that can help you when all these new features come out. Great, like, here's what we're seeing other teams do. Like, here's how we could implement that in your business. Or again, you could even run ideas past them, like what other lead sources are you seeing people have success with, etc. So anyway, super easy to find. Just click that help thing, and it's got all the details there.
Nice. Yeah. And, when you guys are on a webinar like this, agents are, we all have FOMO. We're like, man, I'm missing out. I got to get this. I got to do this. And you might think that I really enjoy working on all this stuff. And actually, I'm just really lazy. And so that's why, like, when I find something that I don't want to do again, over and over and over again, that's a problem. And so I've got to learn how to create systems and processes to avoid it. And so going back to what I said when we first started this, don't just use these to use these. Think about your day in and day out. And if you say, like when the inbox first came out, I remember talking to Dan, I was confused by it. I was like, what is it doing? Like, how does it work? And, you know, the product has changed since then, but, you know, you've got to, like, the automation is an easy win. You know, and I think if you go into some of these menus of different automations that people have made, it should give you some ideas. You know, you change the stage to hot, to cold, and maybe you want it to slowly task you over time, and then maybe after 4 months change it to warm. You know, like, there's just a lot of little efficiencies there to where, if you're manually changing and clicking through your database, see if there's a way to automate it that's helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the analogies, I think it was Jesse from Call Action shared with me, is like, you know, some of these systems, I think especially Follow-Up Boss falls in this category, are a bit like a gym. You know, there's so many different features and things, and same with the Ylopo, the same with Call Action. Like, but you don't need to use them all. Like, you don't need to use every machine in the gym to get to results, right? So, yeah, you don't need to really have that fear of missing out. I think you just need to look at, you know, what's a problem I could solve? Like Barry just put it best. Like, what's something I could solve? Like, if you guys aren't answering 100% of your inbound calls,
That's a
I
problem.
would think about why. Yeah, it's a problem, right? It's an opportunity as well. Sometimes I get in that, you know, that negative, oh, this is such a problem, but it you know, it's such an opportunity, right? So, yeah, I mean, jump in. You know, you don't have to implement everything. That's a mistake anyway, because if you're doing that, you're really just chasing all different software features. Like, there's a lot of flexible things you can do, but again, you don't need to do them all. That doesn't make sense. So just, again, I think that's where the success coaches and coming to webinars like this help, because you can hear from Barry, or you can talk to someone at Ylopo or Follow-Up Boss about what makes sense. You know, what should I be using?
Right.
Not just like, you know, let's use everything. And so I think as well, like, just sharing more of that when you do talk to the team, like, to share what your goals are, share where you want to get to next year, because that's at the end of the day, that's what we're here to help you guys with. And again, like, I think another thing about some of these team inbox features for the smaller teams, I think what they do for the team leader is they start to get you out of the way. So when you're really small, you probably get all the calls coming to your cell phone, right? You need to get rid of that as soon as you have a team who can help you. The same with emails. You can actually connect like a team email to these inboxes as well. So you can start to think, well, how can I assign emails to other people in my team, or to my admin or my assistant, rather than just do everything myself, which is sometimes like a hard mindset to, like, you know, switch out of. But
Well, and, you know, I think if you're trying to search for what should I work on, if you're not following up with your priority alerts quickly, just consistently, you're busy and you're not doing it. Okay, that's a great thing to work on, right? And when you use your drip campaigns, so create some automation around when there's a priority alert. Send that email. I shared the link to the automation, which has the action plan. And now the second there's a priority alert, you're going to send a really cool email. And then in your emails that you're automating and sending quick, go ahead and put your company Follow-Up Boss number on the, sorry, I was going to tell you.
Basically.
Yeah.
Your signature, the drip campaigns. Yeah. You can use that everywhere.
Yeah, you really can. And so hot leads to lender. Was it a big problem that my lender wasn't being added in Follow-Up Boss? Well, no, but that made my lender feel like, man, Barry's really trying to include me. He's having transparency. So to me, that's an easy win by just clicking a couple of buttons, set it and forget it. So, and like the automations I created in 2016 are still being used, and it's like stock, and you just slowly get these dividends. I mean, you know, so just take it a little bit at a time.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Anything else you wanted to cover, Barry? I feel like we've probably given people enough things. If there's any QA, definitely throw them in. I know a few people are asking questions already.
Yeah.
Please, if you can, use the Q&A box.
You know, I just want to remind everybody that, you know, I created the masterclass at ylopo.com/masterclass because I get the question a lot, Barry, if I was on your team, what do you want me to do every day? Like, what's the process? What's the workflow look like? And so the first half of the course is technical in nature. It's the rationale. Stages are the most misused feature in Follow Up Boss. I'm convinced of it. They use it like lead source, or, so stages, we really have 4 stages, and the smart lists my team uses are dynamic. So if there's a name there, actions required. So there's no more of this like clicking on a list and scanning it to contact someone. It's very like 1, 2, 3, 4, they're numbered. Then the second half is each list represents a different type of lead in a different scenario. So then I give you the scripting and the mindset around each list. And so all you have to do is contact Follow Up Boss and say, hey, I took Barry's masterclass, or I'm going to, can you send all of his smart list? And I wrote a text template that's numbered according to the smart list. So if you're in list 1, there's a bunch of list 1 text and a bunch of list 2 text. And if you're a Ylopo customer, and you're a Follow Up Boss customer, I don't get any extra money off of you guys signing up. It's just, I know how annoying onboarding is. And so now when my new agents come on, I just say, take the masterclass, and they're armed and dangerous. They're making money. So, let's see, we got a question here. I've made an action plan for my Facebook ads that come in. Once in Follow Up Boss, Raya engages, and also an email goes out with a video embedded via BombBomb, but my open rate has dropped. The most engaged new email, new lead email that I have is one where it says, John, is this your phone number? For the first email. That's because they're not looking for an agent yet. Normally they don't know what they want. Therefore they don't think you're relevant yet. And so, I've got to create relevance. So, if you're doing a video to introduce yourself, you're applying for a job, but they haven't posted that they're hiring right now. That's the way I look at it. But if somebody were to email me my phone number in the subject line, I'm going to open that. I'm going to be like, what is this? So just something to consider.
Yeah, opens is normally the subject line. The only other thing is because he's saying it dropped significantly, then that could be in the spam. But that would, it's probably not that. It's probably all your subject line. But you could try, you mentioned, embedding the video. Just try not embedding it and just having a link or something, and then see if that fixes it.
Well, and don't be mad at me, Dan, but I think it bears mentioning that if you are I'll email 4,000 or 5,000 priority alerts at a time. I did that 3 days ago, and we captured 2 or 3 leads that it was a very customized mass email around the home that they had looked at. And I sent it through SendGrid, and there's a direct SendGrid integration with Follow Up Boss that works really good with priority alerts. And big idea, SendGrid's kind of overwhelming. Follow Up Boss support helped walk me through it. It makes all these email providers trust you a little bit more. That's the big idea. It's like it kind of verifies your email is the way I would look at it. And you're not limited to 1,000 emails a day. I can send as many as I want. So
for sure.
Anyway, let's see. Any more questions? We've got a few, actually. How do you send BombBomb videos through text? How do you do that, Dan?
So you can actually, BombBomb has what's called a, what's the word? Keyboard, a custom keyboard for iPhone. So I'll just get the link. You can install that. And basically what they'll do is let you send BombBomb videos in any app, including the Follow Up Boss texting app. So yeah, that's great if you're on your phone. That's probably the easiest way to do it. You could also just get the link and paste it in the desktop app, but you probably just do it on your phone if you're making a custom video anyway. So yeah, I just put that in there.
Can you speak to if they have a text template with a link to a BombBomb video? I remember you saying something about it depends on the person's phone if it looks like a full video.
Yeah, it kind of depends on the carrier / phone, because iPhones, for example, treat messages a little bit differently. If it's iPhone to iPhone, that's the best scenario. Like if they're both using iMessage, pretty much everything goes through in like high resolution and you can just send direct videos and stuff. But what's happening a lot of the time is like you're texting someone from Follow Up Boss, I don't know, they're on T-Mobile and some old Android device. It's a little bit up to that device, how they display video, and even like how much video can be sent via T-Mobile. So you can't send like a 1 minute perfect resolution video, just not possible. So that's why I think a lot of companies like even BombBomb, that's going to be turned into like a GIF and then like a link that they, so again, it depends, but you could put a link in your text templates in Follow Up Boss. Like that's something you could do. You could use pictures, just something to be aware of, I guess. If you see someone has an iMessage number, you could always send them a direct video via iMessage. So yeah, it does depend a little bit. We're going to look into that more, like how we can maybe make video texting easier, but there's a fair few variables.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Well, man, I think just on the engagement and this was really helpful for everybody. So I appreciate you taking the time to share the love with the Ylopo community. Howard likes to close a webinar with parting shots. So my parting shot is automate as many parts of your day-to-day as possible in your business. I call them micro efficiencies. They'll add up to bigger things so that you can spend time doing other things that are important. Raya, for example, is an automation that people get confused. Should I take over the conversation or should I let Raya, have the conversation? And the way I tell people to do it is, look, you're always going to be better than a robot. Okay. And so if you're not doing anything and you're just sitting at your computer watching the conversation happen, take Raya over. You're better than a robot. But if you're doing anything else that's important, whether it's, at your kid's baseball game or at a listing appointment, let Raya convert the lead for you, because now you're in two places at once. So my parting shot is just those micro efficiencies, just really reminded me to try to continue to build those up. I don't know if you're able to share. Dan, do you have any parting shots that you'd like to share with the group?
Yeah, I would say get in touch with your success manager if you're a team on the platform. And if you need help, like we have, and you're not a team, like you're a single agent, we also have our support team standing by. But yeah, I just really encourage people to do that, because these platforms change so much. Technology, the system is very different to what it was 2 years ago. So we have customers that have been customers for years, and then they're like, well, I didn't know you could do all this, dialer stuff. And then people realize what we can do. And it's super exciting to take back to their team and to help with coaching and leaderboards. We didn't even get into all of that, in this call, but I don't want people to miss out on technology that's there and things that could benefit their team. So I think talking to your success manager is one of the best ways to not put it all on yourself and just, just set aside 20 minutes to have a chat with them. I'm sure you'll get some good takeaways.
And we actually have two more questions. White glove CRM migration. Can a solo agent get this?
Yeah, just reach out to our team. Honestly, we help anyone with anything they need help with. So there's no, if you're moving from a different CRM, whatever it is, just get us your export file, or even if you can't do that, send us your login and we'll get it for you and help you bring it over. We can help move things over. And then I would just, encourage you to take Barry's Ylopo training, if you're new as well. That's a really great place to start.
Well, yeah. And so the masterclass is good, but then we also are going to be announcing a new training that we're just going to, it's like a mini session. If Ylopo touches a part of Follow Up Boss, that's what we're going to teach you. So there's 4 or 5 core pieces of Follow Up Boss that Ylopo injects data and updates. And so if you know nothing else, you got to know that. And then as far as the training weekly, it's we have both Follow Up Boss and Ylopo has office hours. So every Wednesday at 12 o'clock East Coast time, we have office hours. And every Thursday at 2, I think, or 1 maybe East Coast time, I don't remember. There's Follow Up Boss's office hours. And the reason why I'm bringing that up, because someone just asked, is training weekly. As an agent, many times we're looking through like these articles on how to use something, and it doesn't quite fit our use case. And you need another insider, another agent to help you apply the information. And that's why office hours, it's killer for both. And sometimes I'm on Follow Up Boss's office hours with Lee, and sometimes Lee is on the Ylopo office hours as well, and vice versa. So, you know, a lot of synergy there.
Yeah, awesome. I just dropped a link in the chat as well. So if you're not in the Follow Up Boss group, get in there because we're actually ramping it up. We want to make it as good as the Ylopo group. That's the goal.
Well, Tristan's the engagement champion of the world. That's what I told him. Like it's impressive, man. Just, you know, he's making it anyway. So, but well, Dan, I appreciate it. I appreciate you taking the time to share all this goodness with us. And I'm sure over the next few months, you're going to have tons and tons more stuff. So excited to continue to dive deep with you guys.
All right. Awesome. Yeah. Thanks, Barry. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for coming.
Thanks.
See you.
All right. Bye.